Hey there, explorers. So, I had my first experience with a longer run with my new belt today, or this weekend, I should say. So I figured, so let's talk about belts. Let's go over my experience with belts, and I'm going to use belts semi-loosely, not just hydration belts, but phone carrying devices, I guess. Going with my first to the latest and just kind of my opinions on them and trying to let you guys know more. If you search for hydration belts and like what works, I mean the comments are so varied, and one person will say something, another will, and again, this is my opinion. This is what I see, what I think, but I'm gonna try to lay it all out, show you why I like and dislike things, and kind of go from there, and hope that you guys can take something from it and maybe make it an informed decision going forward. So the first belt I'm going to use here loosely because it's not a belt, but my first was the shoulder piece. So there's nothing special about this. I mean, I got this at like Target or something else. Nowhere special. What's good about this, if you don't like anything on your waist and you're going for a short run, it's great for holding your phone. I have a Samsung Galaxy Edge with a outer box cover on it. So it does not fit with the full outer box, but if you take it out of the outer box completely, it does fit in here. This thing is why I have a crack in my phone, because I was taking it out of the outer box to put it in here, and this fell on the ground. One good thing I will say about this, it has a hole at the top and at the bottom, depending on where your headphones are, so you can run your headphones through the case up into here. And because it's high on your shoulder, this is the only belt that I've used that I've been okay wearing corded headphones. Once I got rid of this, I could not use corded. I've gone Bluetooth. So after I got that, I started doing research and figuring out what I need, because I was moving from runs around the neighborhood to training for a half marathon and more. And I did a lot of reading and a lot of reviews, and the Nathan Trail Mix was coming up time and time again as the leader in the hydration belts. So I knew I needed something with water. I knew I wasn't going to go for a Camelback. I'll touch on Camelbacks later. And I just wanted something that, you know, didn't break the bank, because Nathan Trail Mix has a lot of colors and each one varies in price. So like, you can get some for like 30 bucks, or they go up to like 60, depending on the color that you want. And that seems ridiculous to me. So the first one I got is this nice lime green one. And it came with two 10-ounce bottles. So this is my favorite belt, without a doubt. So the bottles, it's not showing easy here because it's not static around my waist, but these things slide in so easy on the run. So you got two that go in. I wear it reverse, so it's on my back. I don't feel these at all. I do a Jeff Galloway interval. I don't feel them when I run. I don't feel them when I walk. They never ever hit my arms. So I didn't even think about that until my latest belt, where I do hit it when I walk. But on the back, don't feel anything. The pouch itself has a Velcro pouch for the back for you put like keys and that sort of stuff, a larger pouch, and then a front pouch as well. It also is a one size fits all. And what it does is that it has, you know, a seatbelt style where it tightens like that, and you can kind of roll it up, and it comes with a little elastic band to hold it in place. So there is a bit more pre-work for this one, because you do have to kind of set it to yourself before you go out. Now, my wife has used this, Sarah's used this, and I've gone out afterwards, and I have been able to correct it, because again, I just have to loose it and then tighten it. And it's that easy. Pull and it tighten. And I mean, this, if it runs loose during a run, it runs loose during a run. I'm not going to worry about it as much. I've had it loose and it's hit my leg a little, but it's nothing that I couldn't ignore. But getting it in place is really not that difficult. and this keeps. Like, I've never had this loosen. I wear these tight. Like, I don't want this thing bouncing at all on my hips with these things full or empty, and it never moves. It is tight along my waist and it never moves at all, and I appreciate that so much. The one thing I am disappointed about with this is that the pouch itself, I've had it for a little over a year, and I mean, it's fallen apart. I can't put keys in there anymore. I mean, and the inside, the liner, like the protective liner is loose and tearing. So it's not as sweat-proof anymore. So things inside get wet, and you got the giant hole. I can't fit my full phone in there. I can take out this outer liner, and it slides in so easy. Get the little zip. So I can adjust so easily on the run. My playlist on Spotify is like 3 hours and 30 minutes, or almost 4 hours now. On a marathon, I ran 6 hours. So I had to get into this, and I had to reset my playlist, because I don't fully listen to music, but as soon as it's a song I don't like, I reset it. Really easy to get in. It's a zip, pull out, and it's just a drop in. If it wants to stay up, it just drops in. No hassle at all. I can fit this thing in there with it on, but it becomes a bit more of a hassle at that point. Now, I don't know if this tear is simply because I overstuffed this. On my long runs, I bring batteries for the camera. So I have 2 extra batteries for the gimbal. And let me put this out there. All these belts, one of the reasons I need it to be easy and like these to be able to do one-handed, because I carry the gimbal in my hand. So I don't have 2 hands to reset putting this in. And I can put these bottles in one-handed. I can take it out, use my teeth, drink, and put it back in one hand. So this, perfect for carrying a gimbal. But so I mean, I have keys, I have batteries, and for a while I was doing gels, and I couldn't take gels, and it upset my stomach. It made me sluggish, so I couldn't do it anymore. So what I actually ended up getting are these little babies. So just a small container, and in doing some research, I found out peanut butter is actually pretty good for a run. So I mean, I fill these up with peanut butter. I can kind of do them one-handed, open them up. This is about, I take some about every 3 to 4 miles. I get some peanut butter. So on a long run, you know, a 20 to 26 mile run, I have 2 or 3 of these. These take up a lot of space. So I have 3 of these, and my phone, and batteries, and all the other normal stuff. So I know I've stretched these more than probably what they're used to with normal runners. So I can't say that this is entirely the belt's fault and the make of the belt, or if it's just my overuse of them. But I still use it. I still put my phone in there. I don't put keys or anything else in there at this point. It's going to fall out and lose. Or if I do put keys, I use this front pouch that has no holes yet. But the Nathan's Trail Mix, the larger one, this lime green one, I say that larger one because I'm going to show you my next one. My favorite belt. Biggest drawback is that it's torn a hole in itself in under a year, or a little over a year. So the next is another Nathan's Trail Mix. My wife got me this for Valentine's Day for the Princess Half Marathon, because I was going as Eric and she was going as Ariel. It didn't come with bottles, so I could just reuse my bottles. The clips are pretty much the exact same. They come in and come out, no issue there. The latching in the waist is pretty much the same. I don't like this as much. So instead of having the elastic separate, it's now part. So as it comes in, I mean, you can fold it in and everything, but it's now part. And what happens is you can Velcro it and adjust where you want to put it on there. So again, it takes a bit more of a pre-setup to make sure that's aligned to your waist. This is harder to adjust mid-run because there's this inner Velcro, so you kind of have to take it off. I mean, you can always pull it more, but it doesn't tighten the same. I mean, this side's off completely. I think, I mean, I don't know. Again, this was kind of a gift. She knew I liked the Nathan's Trail Mix. She wanted a red one. I think it's definitely for smaller phones. She didn't check the phone size. My phone does not fit in here. I can push it in there without the outer box on it, but it is an extremely tight fit. Like for the Princess, let's get it out on the shelf. So the phone's out. So as you guys can see, I'm having to mold. So there, I've now, it's in and it's molded, and I pretty much have to hold it in place as I zip it up to keep it in there. There's no adjusting this mid-run. There's not. For the Princess, I had Sarah zip this up because I couldn't do it one hand, especially not while holding the gimbal in my hand. This red one, I wish I could tell you guys what the difference is. If there's, like on the description, this one says it's the Trail Mix Plus. This just says ID. Go with the Trail Mix Plus. This is not large enough. I mean, otherwise it's still, the Trail Mix quality is good. It stays, it doesn't loosen. It's harder to tighten, but the bottles are the same as for the other one. They can be used one-handed. Again, it didn't loosen on me when I was on the run. So between the two, go with the Trail Mix Plus over the smaller ID, I guess. Again, I'm only going because it says ID here on what it's called, but it's another Nathan's Trail Mix. Prefer these. I'm gonna go to what Sarah uses now before I go to my new one. So Sarah just uses a belt with two big elastic bands on it. So I almost wore this for the Princess 10K. I don't know, I don't remember if I did or not, because it could easily fit around the kilt that I wore to be young Macintosh. This can fit my phone, surprisingly. I mean, she has an iPhone and it fits in there. Again, none of these phones, none of these will fit my full outer box case. This extra plastic piece that helps with the shock and everything, it's gone. The actual hard case, it can fit. Because this is very slim. Like, she fits it around her waist, under her shirt, so you can't even tell that she's wearing a belt. And my phone fits. It's fairly easy to get in there. It really is. This stretches a lot. So I could adjust this mid-run. Like that I don't think would be an issue. The band is, so one thing about the Nathan's, this is like a hard stretch. It doesn't stretch at all. It's not elastic. It's a core, I don't know what it is, but it's not elastic, it's not stretchy. It doesn't mold or bend at all. And it's for the same with both the Nathans. This is actually much thicker than the other one. So I don't know if you guys can tell, but this is thinner and this is much thicker. And again, this one never moves. This is elastic, so it stretches. It's fairly easy to adjust. I don't want to adjust too much because Sarah uses it, but you just shift this down and it tightens. I mean, you can adjust it mid-run. One thing with this, and a big difference between ones that have water and ones that don't, this doesn't change weight. So once you have it tight on you, it shouldn't loosen up too much unless the elastic itself is getting old and extra stretchy. But with anything that has water, as you put more water in, it shifts the weight. As when it takes it out, it shifts the weight. So hydration ones, I think you really do need something harder on it. So because, especially if you ever refill mid-run, as I've done, and that weight difference, you'd be surprised how much 20 ounces changes. How much more you feel it after, 10 miles when it's down to 0 and you move it back up. So this is, I don't know where she got this. I really don't know much about it, but I will say she likes it. She uses this all the time. It fits her phone, it fits mine. It's fairly simple to use. It's elastic, and I'm starting to learn, I really don't like that. and there's no hydration, so it's a good, decent, you know, it's on par with this. This is just around your waist, this is around your arm. My latest one, you guys saw the holes in my Nathan Trail Mix. I wanted to replace it, and I thought, you know, maybe I'd go for something semi-cheaper. Do some research and see what I like. And I found the Adalid gear. So this one, I mean, first off, I had to make sure that it fit my phone. It's elastic, stretchy. It came with two 9-ounce bottles, I want to say. So they're not technically 10 ounce, so I don't get 20, so I'm losing 2 ounces, but that's fine. I can deal with the loss of 2 ounces. Bottles, again, fairly easy to use. I can pop them open and put them back in. This is where it's going to start to lose me. The bottle holder itself is not stiff. And because of that fact, when I'm moving, or even now, I have to hold this out to fit the bottle in, because it's a tight fit. So, I mean, this is not a one finger job. And even now, see, I'm pushing it in. I cannot do this one-handed. So already it has a strike against me, and I don't know if I can really use it for longer runs once I have the gimbal out. I did a 7-mile run with this, and that's probably the extent that I might be able to do, which sucks because I'm gonna have to get a new trail mix. The bottles themselves do not go in one-handed. They don't. This is, I think, actually supposed to be around the front of your waist. I don't like anything back there, so I wear it, again, reverse on the back of my waist, so it's like this. Running, I don't feel these at all. Not an issue. Again, I do an interval, so when I stop and walk, my hands hit these. I think if they were, you know, faced inwards, so like these, they face towards the middle of my back. These face my sides. So as I go back, I'm hitting these over and over and over and over again. I could, if that was it, I could ignore and I could move on. The pouch, again, has a back liner, a front liner, and a little like key pouch in the middle as well. So there's, again, 3 little liners in here. There's nothing in front, which that's fine. I didn't really need it. So it said it could fit my phone, and I checked the measurements. I measured mine. The issue with the measurements that they don't really tell you, it's this right here. So if the zipper was along the top, this wouldn't be an issue. But because the zipper is actually halfway through, I can't do this in a run. So I've been using it for my shorter runs, and I actually have to set my phone in there. So the phone goes in fairly easy, but I have to push it in. Of course, now I can't get it. Slide in the entire bottom, and then fold the lip over. So my phone's in there fine, but that takes more time than just the drop. And because of that fact, and I start all my apps, I start everything, and I get going. I don't want to waste extra time putting my phone in. I'm starting my phone inside the pouch. So for all the runs that I've had with this, I've actually kind of opened it up like this and just done everything as well as I could with like half a view. This, I can get over. Like if it really comes down to it, I can put the gimbal between my legs for a few seconds to adjust the music and set everything up. This is fine. These, and not being able to use them one-handed, is a big hurt. A big hurt, because I can't be stopping once, or like a complete stop, because this is not just like walk. This complete stop to put the gimbal down, to adjust and put these back in. These are our killer. The other killer is the bands. So this is, again, a fairly simple like Titan device. You simply push it along. Yeah, there you go. And it tightens. Now, I have it about as tight as it can go. Because again, I don't want these things to move. Now, when I have it on, this side today, or yesterday, was fine. It didn't move, it didn't adjust. This side did. After every single run, I found myself tighten this thing back up. For the first 2 miles, it just continued to get loose. So I tighten up during the walking phase, and then I'd run, and by the end of the running, it's bouncing on my hip. And it was driving me insane. And again, to adjust this, I need 2 hands. The trail mix, I don't need 2 hands. I don't have to hold this. I just, one hand, just have to yank it. Because it's already in place. It's a solid lock. It's buckled. This, I have to hold the buckle and then yank it. And that's how I tighten it. So it's a 2-handed tighten. It's not something I can do one-handed. So I can't be tightening this when I have the gimbal. And the fact that it comes loose, on my first long run, like I've had this for a month and I've been doing like 5Ks with it. So I don't feel the difference in the 5K, but I don't fill the water up. I don't take these with me in a 5K. So what this told me is that as long as there's weight in here, this can't keep its position. Because after 2 miles, it stopped adjusting, but I had some. I had lowered the weight of the water. So 100%, these things being full loosens this up, and it no longer sits tightly on your waist. With all that said and done, it was a cheap alternative to Nathan's, because Nathan's is actually fairly hard to find. I mean, you can go into like any running store. Like Fit to Run has these. But they're more expensive there. Finding like a cheaper version, because again, they go from like $30 to $60. They're worth it. So I mean, for $20, I'm not expecting too much, but the failures just make it unusable for me. But the fact that it won't stay tight, the fact that I need 2 hands to put these away, and like just the nail in the coffin, the zipper in it instead of on top, it's just a poor design. It doesn't work for me. So I'm actually going to have to probably get a new trail mix, one that doesn't have the holes, for the actual marathon. I mean, for the half marathon, I can probably use this one because I won't be carrying too much stuff with me. It'll be a battery, maybe one of the peanut butter stuff, and I can potentially keep that because I can use the Velcro part to keep the peanut butter because there's no holes in that yet. Or I can use up here. So the one last thing I'm going to touch upon is camelbacks. So I know a lot of people like camelbacks, and I've used them in the military, and that's why I don't like them. And I know the military version I get is crappy compared to the high-tech camelbacks that are out there. The ones that like seal up so it's not swishing around on your back the entire time. Because the military ones swish around your back, you can feel them the entire time, and it gets lighter, it swishes more, and you have to tighten it. I still don't like them. I don't like having something that tight along my back. It makes your back unbreathable. Again, the high-tech running ones, they help with that, it works, but you still get a section where the water is, where it's not breathing. So you get a nice giant sweat stain. And it's uncomfortable for me. I don't like it. So I stay away from camelbacks. Like this got me through my 20, 23, 26 training mile run and my actual marathon. So, I mean, the marathon, they had water stations, wasn't as big a deal, but my other ones, yes, I stop. I have spots along the way where there's like gas stations or like Burger King where I can go in and I can just fill these up with water real quick. I do refill those. They do not last me the entire marathon. It stopped recording. When did it stop recording? I don't know where it stopped recording. That's my belt review. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys learn, and I hope it kind of educates you on the different sections. I'll put a little like subtitles or sections in there so you guys know what I'm talking about to see that review. Please enjoy yourself until the next video. But thank you guys so much for watching, and until then, goodbye.